Hey, freshmen and sophomores, it's Mr. Dean here. 10-year plan day. And we kind of split up some checklists. And we have like the seniors, because they're like 60 days away from graduation. So they've got their own checklist. The juniors, they've got, a year and a half before they're graduating. And you've got quite a bit of time before you're ready to step across the stage and get your diploma at Norte Vista High School. But even though you're a couple of years out from that, it's still always important to check in and make sure that you're ready and that your transcripts and everything that you're doing is representing what you want so that you can get what you want in the future. So we want you to go ahead and take care of this not transcript, but this checklist to kind of take a look at where you're at and to see whether or not you need to make any changes. So when you go through this thing, and first you're going to click the link and make yourself a copy, and there'll be instructions in the sheet that you click on. But if you take a look at this, first thing we want to ask you is, do your grades show what you want to have for the future college and career opportunities? Is this what you want? Are your grades in a position where you're willing to show them to an employer or wanting to show them to a college and say, hey, this is who I am? And guess what? If you're a freshman, even sophomore, and you're like, man, maybe I kind of messed up, you're still early enough in the game that you can turn some things around, but you got to be intentional about that. All right. Sophomores in the room, remember when we apply for colleges, they're looking at your sophomore and junior grades because they don't get to see the senior grades on the applications. So you got to be knowing, hey, I got to have everything put together. So are your grades what you want to show people? And if they're not, then take a couple minutes right now and put together some strategies so that you can fix that. Now, if you're doing great, hey, I always say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you're doing things well, write down what works for you. What are the strategies that are working and keep doing those things? But if something isn't working, then hey, let's change things up. Let's make some things better and let's figure that out. Maybe you got a little bit lazy or something like that. Or maybe freshman, maybe the first semester was really tough because you were transitioning. That's normal. Remember, we have all these guys, and Mr. Marshall and IB can tell a whole lot of stories about kids that are Phoenix scholars that started off rough, made some good changes of strategy, and then all of a sudden they turned it around and they're getting themselves some great opportunities at some great schools and some great businesses to work at. Being a Phoenix scholar, you can still do that. So you can always make a positive change. So look at what you're doing right now. If you're great, keep doing those things. If you're not, let's make some good changes. All right. So that's the first thing we want you to think of. We want you to identify those things and kind of do a little bit of a self-evaluation. Then it's always good to look at what your goals are. Okay. So what are your current college and career goals? Now, again, we've probably asked you this before in day one, but you're a freshman, you're a sophomore. You guys are allowed to change your mind. And maybe throughout the course of this year, maybe you wanted to do one thing and you wanted to change things up. So right now, we're just wanting you to think and reflect on that. What are some things, or what are some things that you're looking at college and career? Right now, guess what? You don't have to be married to anything. You don't have to be committed to anything. You can like a couple of different things. And then as you go through the process, you'll weed out the situation and figure out, hey, this is what I really want to do. Maybe you get a class and you're exposed to something and you really fall in love with something. Cool. But just keep thinking about that, because remember, you always want the end goal in mind. And then lastly, freshmen and sophomores, what are the things you want to do before you leave high school? All right. Academic wise, what do you want to do? Put it down. Maybe some goals and how to achieve it. You're going to have this. I've got 4 bullet points here, but if there's 10 things, add 10 things. This is your list. You make it work. What are some social or extracurricular activities or community service opportunities you want to be a part of? What kind of clubs or what kind of sports do you want to get involved in? Maybe there's a club out there that doesn't exist and you want to bring it to Novi. Cool. Go after it. And then lastly, we have so many career technical education schools. We got, green construction. We've got the ag department. We've got vocational tech, theater, and everything like that. Maybe you want to learn some skills on campus. Hi, pop-up. Go away. No, I told you to go away. That sucks. So maybe there's some skills you want. Maybe you should pursue those. Maybe you should set yourself up to be able to, get out there and get yourself on a wood shop or a construction shop or something like that. What kind of skills do you want? Go and write those things down, and then start to prep for them as you start to look at your schedules for the next couple of years. All right. So take a couple minutes, look at the checklist, start some self-reflection, and figure out what your game plan is coming for the next 2 to 3 years that you have left here at high school.